Hello, hello, and welcome to the show. You are now tuned into Monday Night Live, aka the Hangout Stream, aka the Chill Stream, baby. All fired up for October 3rd, 2022, and brought to you by yours truly, the man, broadcasting from behind the curtain. You know who I am. Because if you don't know by now, you can visit www.livefreeliverich.com. Or there's another option. Simply Google this name and you can find out. Now we got a nice full show for tonight, so I'm just going to go ahead and slide right inside my first segment of the night, where I like to shine a spotlight on some books that are currently available or coming soon to an online store near you. First one coming straight out of Twitter. This is from Laban T. Bololo. He says, he just shares some praise for this book that he shared with me. He says, I enjoyed the book very much. It received a 5-star rating. I suppose that's what that's about. 5 stars of excellence. It is a smart guide with the best advice to increase your chances from the wealth of information provided. Now, mind you, I did mention a book by Laban last week, and the focus of that book, if you don't remember, was spirituality, more specifically Jesus, and I guess more of a religious focused text, whereas this week he's coming at us with something a little bit more worldly in his book entitled Why Are Dumb People Richer Than You? How the Foolish, Dim, Dumbass Have Built Empires, by Laban T. Bololo, Esquire. Esquire, that is higher status than a gentleman, but not quite the status of a knight. Let's see what's going on with this book here. A little bit of self-help for you this Monday night. Let's check out the blurb. Worldly decisions by those wielding power to set rules make things happen the way they do, and can't even sometimes guarantee the desired results, yet they are inevitable. We are not residing in the best of times, as things are spiraling out of control around the world, and if different decisions had been made, the world would peradventure been a better place. Be that as it may, we need to question whether decisions made by the rich and powerful follow sound reasoning. Only by doing this is when we can enforce remedial action from governments, corporations, and international organizations. Without our intervention, we will always be victims of those who possess greater abilities to make decisions and who tell us things happen the way they do and that nothing can be done about them, however unjust and unpleasant they may seem. Why Are Dumb People Richer Than You? Is more than an introductory economics textbook, a lot easier, accessible to non-specialist readers, and will give you deep insights on how to confront these issues and highlights how the world works and how it can be made to work better. Unless we comprehend this, we will not be able to champion for our own interests, let alone doing the common good as active economic citizens, and what some dumb people have been doing to improve their fortunes that far surpasses actions of the quick-witted. Some more bold claims by Laban. I like the amount of conviction he has in his product descriptions. 100 pages on this one for business, categorized under business investing, business and money. How you guys doing tonight? If you have a book out on the market you'd like to get mentioned during a future broadcast, that's all I need is the title of the work and the pen name of the author. You can get in contact with me through Twitter or on the Discord. Just share a link. This next one's coming from Layla Hawk. In the Rivaldi, wealthy men don't marry, but hire breeders to produce an heir. To feed her siblings, Lenore must sell the use of her body to Lord Gladwin, a man with a secret. Ooh, we're getting a little bit spicy now with Lord Gladwin's Bargain, Navigations by Layla Hawk. Not too shabby, not too shabby. Thanks for stopping by, Rainer. You are consistent. Let's see what's going on here. Miss Layla Hawk. A nice full stream tonight. All right, Layla Hawk, Navigations, Lord Gladwin's Bargain. Let's see what this one's about. We have in the Rivaldi Dominion, poverty leaves a woman with few choices. Lenore reluctantly makes the decision to become a breeder, selling the use of her body to a rich man to bear his child. Unfortunately, the powerful Lord Gladwin wants a contract allowing him to enjoy his desire for her throughout the term of the agreement. Lenore finds him a puzzle, at times gentle and kind, other times brusque and detached. He also has a secret, and she doesn't know how that might impact the time ahead. More of a either short novel or longer novella at 108 pages. Some spicy romance. I guess kind of a spin on The Handmaid's Tale, I suppose. Oh, after work? Okay. Well. All right, up next from Twitter, Amelia Rucker. She shares a link and she says, "Thank you so much. Currently working on my 13th novel." Wow, quite an accomplishment, I have to say. "Enjoy my 12 babies for now." All right. From one spicy book to another, this is Shattered by Amelia Rucker. I don't know how spicy this one is. We're about to find out. I can find out. About to find out. Okay. So that's fine. This is Shattered by Amelia Rucker. The ones we love the most be the ones we hurt the most. Meet Shatoria. Meet Shatoria Fortson, a nurse and young mother who is dealing with the infidelity of her boyfriend and father of her son. Getting the support from all of her family members and friends, Shatoria gathers all of her strength and moves on. However, a haunting secret she is keeping resurfaces as soon as she meets someone else. Trent Johnson regrets cheating on the love of his life and mother of his son. As soon as he finds out Shatoria moved on with another guy, Trenton tries everything in his power to convince her for another chance. His adoptive parents suggest he should leave her alone, but taking no for an answer is what Trenton refuses to do. Shatoria soon finds herself at a crossroads. Will she be happy with the guy who treats her like a queen, like a queen, or will she give Trenton another chance? Interesting. A little bit of spicy love triangle right here. Is that him? Is this the new guy right here and this is her? Ooh, wee. Seems to me like she enjoys her coffee with a little sugar and cream. Yeah. Very nice. All right, one more book. One more book. We'll move on to the next segment here. Coming in from Twitter, we have Skies Books and Other Word Scribbles. Writes, try this short novella out for a spin for the 50-plus reading demo audience. 50-plus reading demo? Saying like 50-year-olds or something? I'm not really 100% sure what they meant by the tweet, but we're going to check out the link. That is to The Android Chronicles by Schuyler Thorpe. Okay. The Android Chronicles. Here's the blurb. It's a short one. A distant world, 2 rare souls, 1 ultra rare artifact. Get ready to plunge yourself into a gritty, vulgar, violent, yet sweet and romantic tale of unrequited love, fortune, booze, and adventure. 40 pages of cyberpunk science fiction, 1 hour literature and fiction. Really didn't give me a whole lot to think about there. See on the cover here, there's this dude with a staff. So, and cyberpunk makes me think that it's like, well, obviously it's futuristic. There's like robots and stuff, but I don't know if there's like magic. Just says gritty, vulgar, violent, and yet sweet and romantic. Perhaps sort of a bipolar type tale. Didn't really explain a lot of what was going on in the plot there. But there it is. Now, that's it for the books this week. After the show, on my community tab on YouTube, I'm doing something new. So I'm going to be posting those 4 books. I'm going to be posting a poll, and you guys can cast your vote for which book you think has the most text appeal. So, in other words, which one out of those 4 books would you be most likely to pick up? If you had to choose one out of those 4 books, I will be posting that after the show at some point. So let's move on to something else here. Let's get into, before I get into some announcements and news, let's go ahead and let's get into some chit chat. Let's do some hot topic for content creators. Yes, hot topic for content creators. This is a segment where I pitch a topic to content creators and start a conversation, and you guys either create content or you go ahead and leave a comment either on this or one of the hot topic videos that I post. I have a whole playlist on my channel, and there's no time limit. You can go back and revisit those videos anytime and leave your comments. And I do have one that I actually collected from Twitter. So let's get the conversation rolling here. And this one comes from D.A. Bell. D.A. Bell, fairly new to the channel, and discovered the Monday Night Live through Twitter. And he's been following some of the content, engaged. He joined the Discord channel as well, or Discord server. And he's also a writer. So let's see what he has to say about this pitch. The pitch was, do you guys think traditional publishing is obsolete in this day and age? So first he starts off by saying, he has a bit of a thread here, so we'll go through it piece by piece. First he starts off, he says, it's not obsolete, period. So rather, TradPub needs a major change. In-house editors are overworked. A lot of authors are overlooked because publishers want a guaranteed bestseller that has potential for a Hollywood film. I'll say right off the bat, I'm not in the industry myself, so I'm not 100% sure on the accuracy of these claims. However, I suppose some of what he's saying here, as far as in-house editors being overworked, I mean, I'm not involved. I don't really know the validity to that claim, but I would say that, it would make sense. Probably, I would assume that in the publishing industry, they probably use a lot of interns for stuff as well. So like college, all you English grad students out there, or liberal arts students with a major in English or something like that, that's probably what you have to look forward to as far as any type of career path. If you want to go mainstream, that is. I would say a lot of authors overlooked because publishers want a guaranteed bestseller. I think that's, you're alluding to the whole thing about, I have heard that from people who are in the industry, that a lot of these mainstream publishers. Hey, how you doing, Ice Queen? Nice to see you. One thing that I have heard about was that in a lot of mainstream publishing companies, they are more interested in, it's not like back in the day, like how people would just, you'd send out your query letters or you'd find yourself an agent to represent you and they would handle that for you. And it's just a yes or no as far based on your manuscript itself, or at least your pitch, or in order to get like a full request from a publishing house. But now it's not just that. It's not just based on the merit of your work, but also maybe leans more towards your following. Social media has kind of like, it's like a blessing and a curse in that regard. So it's like they almost want you, it's like a prerequisite. What I've heard for a lot of these publishing companies is for you to have like a built-in readership. You have to be bringing your own audience, so to speak, to the house. So what I've argued is like, okay, well then what's the point then? Why, if I can build up a readership on my own, then what the hell is the publishing house doing for me? You could say, okay, they might expand my reach more so, but really that boils down to money. You say, okay, you can expand your reach and make more money, but now you're also sharing the pie with, many other people as far as that goes. So I say, well, why wouldn't you just be indie at that point? Whereas like I'm saying, okay, well, the publishing house would have to offer me something more than that. And where you say potential for a Hollywood film, then that's where I would negotiate in my deal. Like, I think that like a lot of people get this like allure of being published. They get so caught up in the allure of being a published author, meaning published by like one of the big five or whatever. And it like goes to their head where they think that that's like equals accreditation and that equals status and all these like accolades, even though it has nothing to do with awards. Sure, you could be nominated for certain awards by being published by, being a part of the good old boys club. But the thing about it is people forget that you're negotiating a deal and you get sucked into that allure of being like, I'm going to be somebody now that I'm published, I'm a part of the club now. You get screwed over in the contracts, and people don't have the gumption or the guts or maybe even the know-how to like negotiate these deals. And they just like willing to like just go ahead and sign over rights without even like pushing for anything. And that's one thing that I would say that I'd be negotiating right out the gates. I don't care about being published by Big Five. I think that the people that are most worried about being published by the Big Five are one of two camps. One, it's like, I think it can be like a goal, yes. And people would find it that there's a certain prestige that goes along with it because of the difficulty of it. But really the difficulty of it is just, it's challenging for the sake of being challenging. What do you get besides the challenge is what I'm asking. Because you can do everything yourself, including the marketing, including the publishing. There's plenty of distributors out there that you can find on your own. And you can even hire independent editors to work on your projects for you. So you can handle everything on your own. So I think that maybe time might be an issue as well. So a lot of people who don't have a lot of time to do these things on their own, they might want the help of a big publisher. However, in that same vein, you're also sitting on your manuscript for however long, you're spending a lot of time sending out these querying letters and querying these folks that and receiving rejection after rejection after rejection, instead of just go ahead and getting down to business from the get-go and doing a little bit here, a little bit there. And over time, you're getting one goal leads to another and you're getting things done. And before you know it, you have more than one work published under your name, and you're just getting down to business to where you get to the next step. First step, have something published. Second step, then start going out there, start networking with people, rubbing elbows with other creators and writers and whatnot, doing collaborations, and you're working on your marketing game, working on your advertising game. And I think that a lot of people believe that if you get a big time publishing deal, that's just going to be it. Like, you've made it after that, and there's no work after that. And that's just, I keep hearing from so many people that are actually involved in the industry that that's not the case. Let's go on here. Let's move on to the next point here. All right. D.A. Bell, he goes on to say, the future of traditional publishing will be smaller publishers. I do have a point to make about that. It says, just as we're seeing with films, people go to the theaters for blockbusters like superhero films. At home, they enjoy rom-coms and such on a streaming service. I don't really know what to say about the last part, but as far as the future of traditional publishing will be smaller publishers, I do agree with that. And I do think that like, what sets the big publishers apart, really the only difference between the big publishers and the smaller indie publishers is twofold, I believe. And it's that one, the big one, and the elephant in the room that, people might not want to admit, is money. So when people say that they're trying to be, I think at the heart of it is like, people want to sign a deal with a big publisher because they think that that's going to make them rich, or they're going to get a big payday out of the deal, which could be true. You may get an advance, what would be known as an advance, when you sign your contract, but you have to look at the fine print. You have to get lawyers involved. You have to know that whether or not that advance might have to be paid back to some degree, if your book is a flop. And then after that, that's just book number one. So then if book number one flops and you have signed a 3-book deal, well, they might not even want a second book out of you. They might, there might be little conditions in the contract that say, they can cancel the contract if, given the results or whatever. There's all these different things. So negotiation, I'd say anybody who's going to sign on with any publisher, whether it be big or an indie publisher, you want to have developed at least some negotiation skills, and know what it is that you're getting yourself into. And educate yourself on the types of contracts that are out there. So I say, I do this on my own. I don't write to get rich. I don't write to make money. Would that be nice? Yeah, I think anybody would like to be able to earn a living from what they enjoy doing. And writing is a joy for me. But it's not something that I do for money. And I think that anybody who wants to become a writer in order to make a living, I think that they're becoming a writer for the wrong reasons. That's just my personal opinion. However, there are easier ways to make a living as a writer than writing fiction. And that's writing copy is what I would suggest if you want to make money. What do you got, Rainer? The institution-backed legitimacy facade will probably still be there in the future. Not sure about obsolete since I've never got the experience. Fair enough. And yeah, I mean, it really is. It boils down. It used to have some sort of prestige, is what I'm saying. Like the whole, like, I got published. And now this isn't to take away from anyone's goal. Like, if you make it a goal, a personal goal of yours to get a piece of work accepted by a publishing house, by especially like one of the big five or something like that, and you attain that goal, then good on you. I'm not trying to spit in your soup here, as far as that goes. But I'm just saying, from a pragmatic standpoint, it's just not the same as it used to be. There's not that certain prestige, if you will, attached to that. And especially as the stigma, because it's twofold. For one, you have the facade of there being automatic prestige just because you get published by like a big five mainstream publishing house. But then there's also the facade of there being a stigma attached to indie publishing or self-publishing that is actually going away in this day and age as well. It's like people are becoming more and more accepting of indie publishers and self-publishing because of the amount of tools that are available and resources that are available. Someone just, the last time I was talking about this hot topic, someone would bring up the fact that a lot of indie labels out there, like small pub and indie pub labels out there, are producing work that is on the same par, right on par with a lot of the mainstream publishers, if not exceeding them. Let's see what else D.A. Bell has to say on this. Okay, now he says his final point in the thread here. He says, tying it together, the change in the publishing industry can be a good thing with smaller and self-pub publishers putting out books you wouldn't normally read in a Tor or Penguin house. The problem will always be not having enough time to read them all. Sure. I think with that last part, the only thing I'd have to say on that one, it is really has to do with the consumer. And like I said before, with like getting the consumer, and it's going to take, it's like I say, the indie scene, the underground scene, all hands on deck effort as far as that goes. It requires like shows like this and other people, content creators out there, especially in like Booktube realm of YouTube, starting to be more accepting of independently published works. And this, through these networks that we ourselves, it's a peer-to-peer, it's no longer Hollywood idolatry type of celebrity, this celebrity type of thing. Take that mindset, throw it out the window. It's now a peer-to-peer community, and it's network based, where it's like people just interacting with each other in this scene, and we build our own networks. By getting out there, and people taking the time to put themselves out there, make connections, interact with people online. Like, what the hell is the point of social media if we can't talk to each other, if we can't collaborate with each other, if we can't organize together? You know what I'm saying? It's like, don't get sucked into the social media game, the social media numbers game, where people think that this is a competition. Trust me, there's plenty to go around. Don't get sucked into the numbers game and thinking that this is a competition. I personally think that's a trap set by the technocrats, if you want to look at it that way. But it's only a trap if you let it be a trap. What we could be doing is organizing together when we say, okay, you're doing your thing, I'm doing my thing. However, anytime I have something new that can be talked about, I could share it with you, I could share it with them, I could share it with all these different folks that I've made connections with online. And it's literally nothing for me personally to come on here every Monday night and I mention something that you guys may be working on, something that you guys have. And it takes a little tiny bit of effort on my part, but at the same time, it's not even like I'm going out of my way. Why? Because it provides me with content to talk about. Have a good one, Rainer. It provides me with content to talk about. So I can come on here. I have things to talk about during my stream, but at the same time, I help you guys with your projects, and we build these types of networks. So I think at the end here where he says the problem will always be not having enough time to read them all. Sure. And I can understand that from a consumer standpoint. So where I was going with all that is like from the consumer standpoint, the consumer is going to be like for the past, however many, we're talking generations at this point, multiple generations of people have been programmed to consume media in a particular kind of way. So the mainstream has kind of groomed the consumer, the general consumer mindset to basically just accept whatever the mainstream media spoon feeds them as quality content, quality as being of the utmost quality. And anything that comes from the underground, anything that is labeled as independent has this stigma attached to it. And I think it's going to take an all hands on deck approach where it's people like myself and other creators out there coming together, organizing and presenting the general public with these products from the underground scene, from the independent scene, so that people can see what's out there, because perhaps they don't have the time to go out and do the research and sift through a lot of what's out there in the market and looking for those rare gems. And that's why I say it's all hands on deck, because it requires content creators, people out there, reviewers, people reviewing what's going on out there in the indie scene and talking about it, having conversations and showing off these projects. And I think that will kind of help in terms of shaping the way people consume media and kind of destroy that stigma that used to come along with anything that was out of the independent scene or coming out of the underground. So thanks for sharing that, DA. I like anyone, if you get on these hot topics, you want to create a video, I'll watch your video and have do some commentary that way. And I can also at the same time plug your channel if you do so. If you want to keep the video, under 10 minutes, that's even better, but I will address what you have to say to some degree if you upload a video and you tag me in the video, especially if I'm not already subscribed to your channel. Just makes it easier to see. It just makes it easier for me to know that you actually mentioned me during your video if you tag me in it. But of course, if you do so, then I'd be more apt to subscribe to your channel if I don't already know of your channel, and then I can give your channel a plug that way. So let's move right along into a little bit of news here. This past week, I am pleased to announce that I scored myself, or I was asked to have a leading role in the newest episode, the latest episode of Doorway to Nightmare. Doorway to Nightmare, for those of you who are unfamiliar, is a full production audio drama that is they upload each week. Each Friday there's a new episode that premieres on the channel, Doorway to Nightmare, and it's a mystery thriller genre with a fresh cast of characters each week that are played by voice actors with full theme music and ambiance and sound effects to like become fully immersed in each show. So audio form of storytelling. And it is written and directed by Winslow Swan and edited by Crimson McKenzie. I did notice that they just recently created a website for that as well. They're actually in their 5th season of the show. So it's definitely very, Winslow is very prolific in that undertaking. It is exciting to see the project kind of expand and grow right before your eyes. Speaking of projects, just earlier this morning, actually, I was on somebody else's live stream. I've been following a lot of people from the comic book realm of YouTube, the creative sphere. And this is, I received permission to talk about somebody's Indiegogo crowdfunding project. And this is something that I pitched to you guys. So I was making you guys aware, like if you wanted to, this is what I mean by like, if you ever have like events or news that you guys want to share with me, and then I can talk about it during the stream, this is what I'm talking about. I know a lot of you guys that are out there in the comic book sphere of YouTube, comic book corner, if you will. You do Indiegogos, you do Kickstarter campaigns. Anytime you have one of those going on, please feel free to reach out to me on any of my social media and just share a link with me, really. You can write to me if you want, or you can just share a link. I also run a writer's lift 3 times a week on Twitter. You can get in on one of those, or just go ahead and join the Discord. I will be talking about that in a little bit. But this one is Beowar on Indiegogo. So let's check this one out. I have featured, even though I'm not into creating comic books myself, I am fascinated by this. And I do think that I've learned a lot about the industry, I have to say, just by watching the comic book corner of YouTube. I have learned a lot, and I do realize that what I never realized before is just how expensive it is to put together a comic book, and just how much work goes into just a single issue of a comic book. So I do think that the fact that in this day and age, you no longer have to stand in a room full of sharks, enter the shark tank, if you will, and convince venture capitalists to invest in your project. You can just do it. The fans themselves can step up to the plate. The consumer can step up to the plate and invest in the project. I do think that is one cool thing about Indiegogo and Kickstarter. So let me go ahead and share the screen here. We can check this out. Perhaps I will watch the video as well. Let me see here. Put this. All right, that looks okay. All right, so this is Beowar. On Indiegogo.
We will march into the night. Let the fear sink in their eyes. We will roar our battle cries.
Hey now.
The oath we shall carry strong. Rally up the souls and sheep.
All this, by the way. So Vic King, right here. I'm subscribed. I've been subscribed to him for a little while now on YouTube. Like I said, discovered his channel through the comic books corner of YouTube, and he streams. He does it for those of you who enjoy live streams. He's the artist of this work right here. Like all this artwork, this is not digital. This is all hand-drawn art, by the way. And you can see him, and you know that it's him doing the work because he live streams, and you can see him doing his work live on YouTube. He also interacts with his audience on YouTube as well. So it's very engaging. Like I say, that's what I like about the indie scene, is just how like engaging it is. Like from whether you are on the creator side or the consumer side.
Fields, fight into the bloodiest fields. For
very good at drawing babes, I have to say.
the honor high decree. The heavens is on our side. We will march into the night. Let the fierce together rise. We will roar our battle cries. The oath we shall carry strong.
All right, very good. That is Beowar. Let's check out the campaign here. So I do think it's interesting the different ways that people set up these campaigns. And you do stand, for those you creators out there, you do stand to learn something from other individuals who are already doing the things that you yourself might aspire to want to do one day. So let's see this here. So Vic King, Beowars, Savage Adventures in Fantastic Realms. So there's 24 days left. So basically this campaign just started. He's already over 50% funded on this campaign. $5,000. Definitely a reachable goal, I will say. He looks like he's well on his way to being fully funded. He's over 50%. There's still 24 days left. So let's see what kind of tiers we have here. We have the featured, so these different tier brackets. Usually you get different types of exclusives or something like this. I don't know what we have here. Let's check out the different tiers. We have the tier of Cathal. I think these might just be different amounts. Like if you want to choose like just basically a one-stop shop amount that you want to pledge towards the project. So we have the tier of Cathal, which is $150. The Beowar basic tier, which is $25. The black Okay, maybe it does come with different perks. One says the black light cover art for $30. The Pit Fight silk print tapestry for $30. Beowar 2 book tier for $50. A sketch tier, $75. Original interior pages, 1 out of 59. Original interior pages get drawn into the book for $200. You can be drawn into the book. Let's see. Beowar cover line art. Wow, so that must have been the original line art for the cover. Someone already claimed that one for a hefty $300. So a lot of people need to. Well, I'll get into some more. I'll say some more things after this. Let's get into this. Vicious Ink Comics. That's the VIC. So Vicious Ink Comics presents Beowar. This is a 60 pages of magazine-sized metal action. Metal action. So let's see. To fulfill a prophecy of blood, one man sets himself against Lovecraftian horrors and savage perils of this barbaric world. Join Beowar as he faces the sea demon Cathal and its half-human mutant brood. Look at that. That's freaking badass. Like I say, all hand-drawn, too. So it gets a little bit graphic. Pun intended. It's just some more of that. Hey now. One has a brood, the other has a harem. Then meet Alazan, the Bloodletter. She a villain? Reminds me of a girl I used to know. Hearts and all. A woman in need of vengeance, possessed by the one goddess that can reap it. Watch this epic drawn live daily on Vicious Ink Comics YouTube channel. See, that's what I was telling you. This is this new era that we're in when it comes to consuming media and stuff. It's like, I don't understand why, Hollywood is even humored at this point. Like, this is way more interactive. When you can see the product and you can actually be a part of the whole experience of watching a piece of art or a product come to fruition from an idea all the way to a finished product, like, and you can be a part of the whole process. Like, I think that's so much better than just being spoon-fed some mainstream nonsense. Oh, we got some stretch goals here. Stretch goal number 1 at 7,000. So this is if it goes, the funding goes above and beyond 5,000. He's saying if his campaign hits 7,000, everyone gets this Alazan and Knox trading card by the incredible talent of John Dillard. Hey now. She's riding a mammoth, a woolly mammoth. You get this broad here riding her woolly mammoth. She's got this, those bones. I imagine she might be a little bit cold outside, wearing this bone bikini. A bone bikini. I would like to thank Peyton Parrish for granting us use of his insane, awesome music for Beowulf's trailer. So there's your credit on that one. Please check him out on his YouTube. So you check out Peyton Parrish YouTube, who's credits for that music. What's this? Oh, decapitation! That's badass. There it is, Beowulf on Indiegogo. You can fund it today if you guys want to join in on making this comic book come to fruition. Speaking of sharing projects and different things, I want you guys to know you can join the Discord basically as like a one-stop shop. I don't have any expectations of you guys on the Discord channel, just to let you know. Basically, like, I know that not everybody has Twitter, not everybody does Facebook and stuff like that. Hey, there's the man himself. What's going on? I'm glad you could stop by while I was live. That was cool. I did mention you already as far as the channel. But yeah, so the Discord, you guys, when you join the Discord, this is basically, I made this for people like you, if you don't have Facebook or Twitter, or you don't follow all those things, I would say go ahead, join the Discord channel. The link is always in the description down below. Just do yourself a favor. Just go ahead, join the Discord channel. There's no expectations of you. So if you just go ahead, join the server, and you just are there and you just want to kind of keep an eye on what's going on, what's being shared, I'm cool with that. But what I'm saying is you can also use this as a resource for your own work. That's in fact, what I encourage you to do. You don't have to go on there and engage in a bunch of chit chat or anything like that. But if you just want to go on there, anytime you have a project that you would like to share with me, you have a new book that you release that you would like me to talk about, mention during the show, or anything like that, it's just kind of an easy way. I'd like to migrate less of trying to, engage on Twitter, get people to engage on Twitter, and just kind of like engage with those of you who are on my Discord and you have things that you're working on and you can share it that way. So as you can see in the photo here, this could be your books. If you do blogs, you run a blog and you do, like, say you post flash fiction, which we're going to be getting into in a little bit here. We do have something to read. But also videos. So like videos from your YouTube channels, anything like that. The crowdfunding projects like the one I just covered. Or but this isn't just to the artists out there or writers, but also just like content creators. If you say you run a Booktube and you have like a book club or something like that, and you have like reading events or something like that you'd like to share with people, or you're looking to get more readers interested in joining your book club or whatever it may be, and you would like to share the details with me, I'd be more than happy to talk about it during the stream. So I do this for you guys as far as that goes, and I just try to make it as easy as possible. And at the same time, you guys help me out because you're providing me with content to talk about during my Monday live streams. So it's a win-win as far as I'm concerned. I'm doing a little editing tonight. Oh, very nice. Very nice. Yeah, I do. Sometimes, like, I like joining. That's the thing that I like about live streams is, like, sometimes, like, I'll put on a live stream, and even though I'll just put on a live stream and I may be working at the same time. Let's see what else we have here. Speaking of work, I did get back into, I did post something new. What's inside the mystery pack? I just want to kind of clue you guys in on this little thing that I have going on here, where on YouTube. So basically on YouTube, I noticed that they have 3 different ways that you can kind of advertise or market your channel, if you will. So you can, and I try to take advantage of all 3. And I know that not everybody has the time for that, but if you can, that's what I would suggest. And so let me see. I'll just go ahead and pull the new one, actually. So I do, as you guys know, obviously, I do the live streams weekly. The live streams is kind of like a hangout. I consider this like a hangout. Like I just boot up the live stream. Whoever shows up, and we can just hang out with each other. And then I just talk about, different things pertaining to the independent publishing, really, in the creative sphere as a whole. But I also do pre-recorded videos where I try to put a little bit more production value into it. And those are like my live free, live rich presentations, if you will. So my most recent one, and I don't do those weekly or on a regular schedule. Those are just like whenever I feel like I have something that I feel like talking about, or something that I think would be valuable, I guess, to the scene overall. With my most recent one, I was talking about story structure. But I also do shorts. And if you already know me, I'm not a fan of the short form media in terms of videos. I never got on board with Vine. I despise the TikTok craze. I know that book talk is kind of becoming a thing, which I would say that at least I'll give it that much, that at least they're trying to build somewhat of a healthy type of culture in that way with the whole book talk thing. But other than that, I find most of it just to be like vapid nonsense, like the lip syncing thing, the dance trends, I guess, could be like an exercise thing. At least people are exercising, but for the most part, I don't like short form video format. Not that short. But I do think that it's good for advertising. So a lot of people do like that type of stuff. And when they're flipping through, I kind of came up with my own little thing where I upload packs. Let me put that. So the mystery pack is basically just my gimmick, if you will, for the short form media. So I have a playlist on my YouTube where I do mystery packs, and inside each mystery pack is what I call a cover card, which basically just reveals a book by an independent author that I've discovered on my own in the market through some means. And then I also provide provide a link to an editorial that I wrote. So in my most recent one, so this is what I call the indie breakdown series. I will talk about that a little bit more in a second here. So the indie breakdown with my most recent one was a book called No Rest for the Wicked, and that's by Dane Cobain. And you can look that video up. It's just on my main page on my YouTube. You scroll all the way down at the bottom, you'll see a link to my most recent shorts. Let me get this off the screen because there is something I want to address about that when it comes to these shorts that maybe everybody is not aware of, because it is a little bit hidden. They don't make it easy for you to see, because I heard that YouTube gets kind of weird when it's external. Anytime you try to share like external links, in other words, they don't tend to make it very easy for you to find. So let me just go ahead, bring that up. Okay. So right here, I want you guys just take a look right here. I don't know if you're aware of this, but so the way that I do it is that I just post this mystery pack, and then it opens up. You see the card, it reveals the card. You see the cover to the book that I read, and then there's a link, but you have to actually click. Let me see, is it showing? Okay, very good. You actually, in order to get the description, you actually have to click on this up here, and then that will give you access to the description. And then in the description is where I actually share the link right here, which will bring you to the editorial itself. Now, I say editorial. The reason for being is that my indie breakdown series, where I do like reviews on different like independent authors, is not I call it a review because I do post it on Goodreads as well, but it's more of an editorial, and it's not like a full analysis, like cover to cover analysis on the book, like you would see some people on YouTube do, and they do a great job at that. But you also notice that those videos tend to be like an hour long. Well, for me, I could have done, I could still at some point in time do video reviews, but really I want to kind of encourage more reading. So that's why I've chosen to take like the blog, use that as a method of writing on my blog. So I write these editorials, and I call them editorials because they're more of like artistic critiques of the book itself. So the reason why I call it indie breakdown is because what I do is, instead of doing like a full synopsis and delve into the characters and the plot and all that in minute detail, what I do is I kind of or else my article would be like thousands of words long. So I try to keep each article around 1,000 words. So in order to do that, I break the book down into 3 main categories that I focus on. And then I kind of just, it's kind of an opinion piece where I critique the book based on these 3 focus areas of the book. So the way that I rate books is I'll look at the book for readability, and then I'll look at the book for its creativity, and then last but not least is the delivery. And by delivery, it's basically like, do I think the book delivered as advertised? What did I like specifically? That's where I may talk a little bit about the plot or something like that. Creativity being, what specific creative aspects. It could be like a magic system. It could be the writing itself, like the prose, the imagery. And then the readability has to do with the structure of the story itself. Like how well was the story paced? Was there any writing errors or anything like that would affect the reading experience itself? So I never really explained that before. Perhaps I might make a separate video going into that a little bit more in depth. But I just wanted to kind of give an overview and show you guys how those mystery packs work. But anytime, if you just want to go ahead and check out any of the editorials that I've written, I have a list of all the independent authors that I've featured so far in that series listed on my website. So you can just go to the networks tab and then click on independent writers box, and then you can find all the works in there. So now, speaking of artists, I would say an opportunity for any of you illustrators or graphic designers out there. If you would like to submit a piece of art, I do have the link in the description down below. It'll bring you to the website where you can just contact me saying that this is for a piece of art to be featured in the thumbnail for the Monday Night Live. The thumbnail could use some improvement. So if you guys, what I'm going to do is like you guys can just attach a file. When you get in contact, let me know that it's for the thumbnail for the Monday Night Live, and I will use your original artwork as the thumbnail indefinitely moving forward for the Monday Night Live streams. And it could be any theme, any genre, or any style that you want. It doesn't necessarily have to reflect, like if you wanted to make a caricature of myself in your original artwork, like that would be cool. I think that would be pretty neat. But I would say, perhaps have it like reflect your own artistic style that way, because I will be giving you credit each and every single time that I use that piece of artwork in the thumbnail and mention you during the show moving forward. And if I only get one person that contributes, well, it's your artwork that gets used. So that means your website, you can include one external link. So this could be a link to your website or your link tree, whatever. And you will be getting credit on each and every single Monday from that point moving forward, if you're the only person. Writers out there, I have something for you. Any of you indie writers out there, the Storytellers Society is accepting submissions. The Storyteller Society, we're looking for flash fiction. Flash fiction between 500 to 2,000 words. It can be any genre, and and this is a non-exclusive agreement. So this could be a piece of work that you have published on your own blog as well, or you may have published in a previous anthology that you published yourself, that you self-published. In other words, there's no rights. Like, in other words, you own the rights to the work itself, and you grant me license to publish it, to republish it on my own blog. And then I handle all the marketing after that, marketing and advertising for this. So this is a chance for you guys to get involved, create a little peer-to-peer relationship with yours truly, and get your work out there. And I handle all the marketing after that. You help me build my blog, and at the same time, I help you try to see if I can't get you a little bit more, build a little bit more awareness for your work and your brand. So I think that's a big thing. What I was talking about earlier is brand recognition. I know that might make some people chuckle, but you know me, I've been around the scene for a while now. I wasn't always involved in the arts. I was involved more in business and finance in my earlier years with Live Free, Live Rich Entrepreneurs, and then expanded into Live Free, Live Rich Entertainment. But brand recognition is important. Brand recognition is basically just, that's how we're going to shift the culture moving forward, because I truly believe that Live Free, Live Rich Entrepreneurs are the future. And what I mean by that is it's individuals working with other individuals. Now that you are the brand, like you may represent your own brand, but you're working with other people. Yes. And I have brought up the fact that that you are a writer with your own published works as well. Yeah, that'd be great. But this is what I'm talking about. This is how we build brand recognition. And the reason why we would want to do that, when I say it's all hands on deck, it's a community effort to change the zeitgeist, if you will, or alter the zeitgeist, with the consumer always looking at just expecting their media to be handed to them on a silver platter from Hollywood. That's what many of us before the internet grew up having, is just Hollywood mainstream media, just, serving us our media on a silver platter. Whereas nowadays it's like the all hands on deck. It's not an idolatry thing. It's a community-based thing where it's individuals working alongside other individuals, and we all have our own individual efforts. But at the same time, as word gets around, like I work with you, Winslow, if you're working with me, and vice versa, we're doing our own separate thing. However, the word gets around through the grapevine. So you're on your path, I'm on my path. However, we're interacting with different people on our own separate paths. So anytime your name is brought up while I'm on my path, that's potentially new people that become familiar with your name while I'm on my path. And I'm not trying to make this sound like I'm dumbing it down, like there aren't people that understand these things. But what I'm just saying is that in terms of the consumer mindset, because the consumer, what I was talking about earlier in the hot topic was a matter of time, not having enough time to consume all these things that come out. Because I do understand that, you're going to reach a point where it's like everyone and their brother calls themselves a writer or an artist of some shape, fashion, or form. So that's where brand recognition comes into play. So it's going to take an effort for all of us creators to go out there and interact with the people who are proactive in the scene. And those are the people that you want to collaborate with. People who are on a consistent basis, keep showing up, keep popping up in the scene on a consistent basis. So there's that reliability there. You can rely, you say, oh, I know this guy. He's live every Monday at 9 p.m. It builds that, there's that reliability there. And then every time you're popping up in the scene, your name pops up. That's building brand. That's a form of brand recognition. It might sound funny because it's talking about individuals and not corporations here. But I mean, that's pretty much where we're moving towards in the future. Like, it's not people go and get jobs. Like, you're going to create your own job. That's a beautiful thing, I think. And that's the beauty of it. And using the internet as a tool, as a resource for doing so, while at the same time just doing what you would do by yourself, like working on your art and doing things that you just enjoy doing. Let's get in here. I could keep going on that topic for a while. You could probably tell I'm very passionate about it, I have to say. So that's Storyteller Society. Last but not least, if you're looking, this could be for people who don't necessarily have the time to run a YouTube channel, and maybe you're interested in maybe utilizing the live stream format to talk about your products. I am extending this opportunity to you guys, and you can be my guest co-host if you would like for a future podcast. The reason why I say guest co-host is because this is the hangout stream, this is the chill stream. I'm not really interested in doing like formal interviews. For one, there are plenty of people. There's always room for more. Like I say, everyone has their own role in this scene. That just happens to not be my style. That's all I say. So I prefer what I would do as an icebreaker for me. Oh, yeah. And I feed off it too. Anytime I see other people too that are in the creative sphere and they're passionate about what they do, like I feed off that myself. Like that inspires me to keep going and doing what I do. It makes me feel like what it is that I do, makes a difference. You know what I mean? In the grand scheme of things. So like I was saying, become a guest co-host. Basically what you guys would do, you come on, I would have a featured stream where you would be featured on the title card itself. You come on, this would just be an icebreaker for me, and you just hang out. This is the hangout stream, this is the chill stream. You would just hang out with me while I do a show, and you would co-host it with me. Like say when I'm talking about the books, maybe we could take turns back and forth. You read a blurb, I read a blurb. We could share our first impressions, and I'm cool with maybe have like different points of view. You know what I mean? Bring people onto the show that might not necessarily have the same points of view as me, share the same types of opinions as me. I think that would be interesting. And we can just have a conversation about different things. And of course, I will give you a chance to talk about your own work. So you'll have a chance to talk about your own work. I'm just saying, I'm not the type to just sit here and I'm going to just be firing questions at you like an interview style. I don't want to do that, but just hanging out. And then from that point forward, basically what I'll do is I'll add you to a list. I'll add you to a group DM list. And anytime I go live from that point forward, I will be sending the link in the group DM list. And then you guys will be free to just pop in and out of the live stream, as you see fit. Like if you want to just pop in, like you say, Winslow, you're doing some editing right now. Like if you just wanted to pop in and just hang out with me while you're doing your work, but at the same time, you can, toss in your 2 cents. Like if you want to have something to say about whatever it is that's going on during the show, you'd be more than welcome to do so. And yeah. So now let's get into the last two. We got 2 more segments here. I try to keep this under 2 hours. 2 more segments here. And this next one, we're going to get into some reading time, where I do some live reading of something that you guys share with me from your own blog. This could be from your own blog. This could be from your Kindle Vella. This could be from your Wattpad, anything like that. And this one comes from fellow member of the Storytellers Society, Mr. Ugao Chan. I was told that it is Ugao, not Egao. And when I type it into Instagram, it autocorrects to ego. So we have my new novel, Poison City, is a modern paranormal urban fantasy. And I swear, it's not ridiculously long yet. Check it out if you like Eastern-style paranormal / ghost investigation stories with kung fu elements. I will be reading chapter 1 of Poison City by Ugao Chan via his Royal Road. It's interesting. Almost like a Royal Road is similar. Another one of these publishing platforms. Almost similar to, it's not quite like Ko-Fi or Patreon. I don't know if you can put it, if he's still in the chat or whatnot. I don't think he's in the chat anymore, but I would ask if you could put that stuff behind a paywall or not, or if it's just free, all free for viewing. I never used the website before, but we'll be reading Poison City. Let's see what this is about. See what Mr. Ugao Chan has for us tonight. I was thinking about uploading. I can upload my own music now, so I need to see what I can do about licensing some theme music for reading time. I think that would be good, but I never really know what it is that I'm going to read. If you guys last week's episode, you know exactly what I'm pertaining to there, but I never quite know exactly what I'm going to be reading from week to week. Well, I do have a queue set up, but I mean in terms of genre. So I was thinking about if I have to, it would be quite an undertaking to license a bunch of theme music to upload for the stream, but I might do it. Add to the whole atmosphere, if you will. Then after this, we will have a video to watch. If you want to stay tuned for that. If not, you're always welcome to come back during the replay. And if you guys are watching this on the replay, well, I will get into that after this. So we have here Poison City. It says warning. We already have a warning label, people. This fiction contains gore, profanity, traumatizing content. So, viewer discretion is advised. Listener discretion is advised. Let's check out the blurb. Greed, resentment, ignorance. Poison City is one with a long and mysterious history, with 3 distinct districts surrounding the beautiful and ever so tranquil Lake Akui, or Aki. I think that's Aki. Wealth is the symbol of the Northern District, one of plenty and opportunities. Innovation knows no bounds in the Southwestern District, an area of youth, passion, and minds. The preservation of rich history and tradition is the pride of the Southeastern District. It's a people of culture and familial pride. Layers and layers of scars growing on top of each other. Still, the festering wounds go unleashed. Generations passed, and blood and pus became the norm. Detective Marcus Kai had spent the entire of his career trying to keep the fragile peace while attempting to find his own, but to find it, it seemed, required him to venture deep into the unknown and the formerly invisible and untouchable. All right, let's get into it. Where do we go here? As we want Chapter 1, The Raid. Did that change it? Yep, very good. All right. All right, let's get into it. It was a chilly, breezy, and cloudless late afternoon. Noises of doors banging, people cursing and fighting, and even guns fired were coming from a 5-story apartment complex located at the border between the southwestern and southeastern districts of Poison City. It was an impromptu drug raid carried out by 3 detectives of the PCPD. PCPD? Is that the politically correct police department? Along with a few uniformed officers. Under ideal circumstances, they would have waited for their backup to arrive. But this was in an area where the roads were narrow, bumpy, and generally very poorly maintained. Thus, when they spotted a fleeting window of opportunity, they had no choice but to go in, lest they let a large subgroup of the drug gang and one of its core leaders that were in charge of a quarter to 1/3 of the hard narcotics in Poison City and employed children as young as 8 as drug mules go free. Hey, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you. Bang! Pieces of wood and drywall flew off as one shirtless, tattooed young drug dealer with the left side of his head shaved was thrown against the side of the hall. The short and double-barrel shotgun was taken away from his grasp before he could even try to squeeze the triggers. Detective Marcus Kai tossed the shotgun to the ground beside him after bashing the perp with its butt and let the officers behind him cuff him up. This should be the last one inside this complex. The others should all be handled by the officers guarding the entrances. There was one last room in this story, one with a metal door and some pieces of light yellow paper tucked on it and its frames. Don't. Please let him go. The restrained young drug dealer begged Marcus as he walked towards the metal door. He would be in danger if he comes out. Please let him go. Shut up. The uniformed officers pulled the perp up and dragged him away. No, please don't do this. The drug dealer tried to resist the grip of the two officers, but it only earned him some kicks to his legs and being more violently shoved down the stairs. With the two officers taking the perp away, Marcus was now the only one in the hallway, but this was of no concern to him. He approached the door carefully from the side and then took a few seconds to examine it. The yellow pieces of paper were not random decorations, but were actually talismans. Paper talismans made of the same kind of yellow paper that was commonly used to make paper money and paper gold nuggets, which people in the southeastern district burned as sacrifices and gifts to their dead ancestors and family. The symbols and patterns on them seemed to be drawn using some kind of low-quality red ink. Marcus could easily see coarse grains left behind by the brushstrokes. Police! Come out at once! Marcus banged on the metal door. Please leave me alone. A weary and frightened voice of a man came from behind the metal door. Please, I'll tell you everything. Just leave me in here. I can't go out there. It will be the death of me. I'm afraid that's not an option, sir, Marcus said. If you have crucial information, we can get you into protective custody, but you'll have to come out first. No, the man cried. I can't go out there, please. You wouldn't understand. She'll kill me. Marcus took a deep breath, then unleashed a full-force kick onto the metal door. The frame of the door was loosened, and the wall loosened? Jesus Christ. Guy's got a Sparta kick, huh? The frame of the door was loosened, and the wall around it cracked up. But the door itself still stood, as it seemed like the door was reinforced from inside and bolted shut. Please just go. Leave me alone, the man inside cried. Please, I'll tell you anything. I'll do it here. I'll sign a statement. I'll do anything you want, as long as I can stay here. Considering what you and your friends have been doing, you don't get to demand that. Marcus shook his head as he took a brief moment to focus and activate his key. The style of ferocious tiger. A simple name for an ingeniously simple martial arts style, as more ki than usual coursed through his meridians. He looked around to make sure no other officers were watching and readied his stance. One last time, open up, or I'll kick this fucking door down. No, please, leave me be. Just let me. Bang! The sole of Marcus's right foot made contact with the metal door once again. This time the kick was so forceful that it denied the door slightly while ripping it off from its hinges and throwing it onto the ground inside the room. A loud, throaty, seemingly terrified, yet almost unbearably high-pitched scream exploded beside Marcus's left ear and got his head ringing for a short while. The hairs on the back of his neck stood up straight for a brief moment, but soon they became as they were. A slim and pale man wearing a dirty white cotton vest and a pair of old jeans inside the room was laying on the floor, crying and staring at Marcus, visibly shaking, and had an obvious wet spot on his crotch, spanning to both his inner thighs. That man pissed himself. The stench of urine and sweat filled the stale air inside the room. There was but one dim and flickering light hanging from the center of the ceiling, which made the room lacking in lighting but not completely dark. On the walls hang at least a few dozen paper talismans, like those that were stuck on the door frames and the door. No. The slim man went, no. The slim man went into a cradle position and started mumbling while crying, "She's gonna kill me. She's gonna kill me." Get up. Get up. Marcus wanted to put his gun back into his holster, as he could tell the man was in no condition to harm him even by a little bit, nor did he look able to do so because of his poor mental and physical state. But he remained cautious and closed in on the supposedly last perp in this rundown complex, one step at a time. The slim man crawled on his butt backwards away from Marcus while having his eyes fixated on him. Or I suppose you could say he was crab walking. Or maybe something on or behind his left shoulder. You're under arrest. Get up. Marcus lowered his gun, but still uttered his order in a calm, stern tone. Hands above your head. The slim man stared at Marcus for a short while, his terrified facial expression gradually loosening up. Tears ran down his messy and dirtied face, along with snot and drool. Oh my God, thank you. This slim man crawled up to Marcus and tried to hug his left leg. Thank you so much. You saved me. What the? Marcus was quite confused, but he stuck to his job. Stand up, turn around, and hands behind your back. Okay, just please don't leave me. The man tried a few times to stand up and finally did during his fifth or sixth try, and let Marcus put him in cuffs and take him along like a tired pet. Who is she? While driving his car back to the precinct with the slim man sitting in the passenger seat instead of the back seat, due to the incessant begging of the man, Marcus asked, "Why does she want you dead?" I don't know, man, really. This perp shuddered as he seemingly tried to recall certain things that led him to this state. I swear, I have absolutely no idea who she is and what she wants. Maybe the spirit of some random woman I pissed off back in the days. Spirit? Yes, spirit or ghost, specter. The slim man curled up in his seat. She torments me. She haunts me in my dreams and while I'm awake. Almost every corner I turn, I could see her face just staring at me with those terrifying eyes. Until now, if not for you, she would have killed me. This, I am very sure. She would have killed me somehow. I can't even imagine. We're going to request you take a drug test when we're at the station. Marcus sighed and shook his head. You don't believe me, do you? The slim man looked at Marcus while slowly banging his forehead against his curled up knees. Please, you don't have to leave me, but just please stay by my side. I fear she may come back. I think she will come back. So please stay by my side. That will depend on how well you cooperate. Marcus shook his head and turned around a corner of a narrow road. We will need to know everything you can give us, and you're going to have a full statement and confession. As long as I am safe and away from her, I'm willing to do anything. Tell me more about her. How did you get involved? Why is she targeting you? After some careful maneuvers, Marcus finally made it to a slightly wider street. Yet he still had to be careful because the streets were more crowded. The locals of the southeastern district were not known for their warmth towards law enforcement officers like him. And the apathy and despise the pedestrians and jaywalkers were showing them now was on one of the better scenarios Marcus knew they would encounter. It's complicated, and I want to be somewhere safe. Just this moment, Marcus's phone rang, and he had to put it on speaker. Come back to the precinct now. That was Captain Coe, in a clearly unhappy tone. Already on my way, Marcus sighed. And that is it. Wow. I did enjoy that. I will notice a few things right off that you introduced. You did a good job at introducing the main characters of this story. And a little bit of an intrigue there. Set the plot in motion. Well, I should say maybe not so much the plot, but definitely the world building. I see you did some world building work there, introduced the main characters. The plot's still a little bit fuzzy to me, not really sure where it's going. Definitely know that I could look forward to some supernatural aspects to this story. So that was a little bit of a surprise, and I thought that was pretty cool. So there is a little bit of mystery added to keep you reading onwards. If you guys would like to continue this story, the link will be down below to this. He does have several chapters of this story published already. And reading time, if you guys want anything read, it could be flash fiction, it could be poetry, it could be essays too. Like if you do editorials, like I was talking about before, and it doesn't have to be on indie books. You could write an opinion piece, an editorial, or a book review on a famous type of book where I'm reading your opinions on which, and then we can have a little commentary about that. Now let's get into the final segment for tonight, and I'm going to wrap it up, closing in on 2 hours here. That is video time. Do have a video. I was tagged by Nicole's Bookish Nook. She did partake in a Authortuber tag video that I published maybe a couple months back or something like that. And I called it the Super Duper Authortuber tag video 1.0 for 2022. Basically, all I'm going to do, I'm not going to, if you guys do tag videos and you tag me in them, and it's a tag that I've never done before, then what I'll do is I will play the video on stream, but I will also do what I can to kind of partake in the video itself, like in the tag, try to do the tag live. But basically what I'm going to do here, I'll just play the video, and this can kind of act like how I was saying before. I don't really do author interviews. However, this is basically like an interview. So I will play this as essentially Nicole's time to shine. And this can be kind of like an author spotlight, if you will, because I know that she is participates in the Authortube side of YouTube, and she does have some books published herself. So let's check this out. All right. Nicole's Bookish Nook. I will be having her YouTube channel linked down below so you guys can check out her videos. She's been around the YouTube scene for quite a while now. Let's check this out.
Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a tag, and I was tagged by Jonathan. I'm gonna put his channel down below, and I had to write down the tag's name because I don't know what's going on with me today, but I said it a bunch of times and it was messing me up.
A little bit of a tongue twister.
The tag is Super Duper Authortuber Tag Video 1.0. I think I just need more coffee, but I didn't want to embarrass myself, so that's why I wrote it down. Now, as usual, I'm not doing this in any order whatsoever. There's only 7 questions for this tag, so I'm just gonna
try to keep it short and sweet.
My cute little cauldron, especially because it's almost Halloween time, so we're on point. Okay, so question number 5. Do you think readers would consider the subject matter of your work to be predominantly heroic or villainous? That's a good question, actually. I would say heroic because I don't have any morally gray or anti-hero or a villain in the main character slot. And though my main characters can be a little odd in their choices sometimes, they're doing it for the greater good, so I would say heroic. Number 4, have you ever worked with a sidekick on a project and or submitted work to a blog, publication, or podcast? For the first part of it, I did for a poem probably over 10 years ago, and I wrote the whole poem, and the person said that she wrote the whole poem, and I was like, I haven't heard from you for like 2 weeks, so don't even go there. Oh.
Tea time. Hello. I'm here for the tea. Chip, chip, cheerio. Don't mind me.
Okay. And so that's when I stopped working with people because I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it. I also have a problem with group projects because of that same reason. For whatever reason, people go in and, they have figured out that I will do the work and they can just sideline, or they can become submissive in the group project and I'll step in and help run it with someone else, or I'm running it by myself. That's why I don't like group anything.
I can kind of sympathize with that, which is why I have for 2022, I have been making a concerted, I will say that my New Year's resolution was to try and make a concerted effort to try and put myself out there, for one, and for two, to try and reach out to other writers and creators within the sphere. Now that doesn't mean that I'm, trying to put myself in any kind of predicament where things get weird. Like for me, like I'm very good at being able to separate what is professional and what is personal. So I've make it very clear from the get-go, since I've been on here, that I am not doing this because I am in the market to make friends. But it's only natural that, like, if you begin to work with people and stuff like that, there you may build a little bit of familiarity with each other. But for the most part, I just like to keep things professional, and I have been pretty choosy about who I work with, in the sense of me like submitting work to, because I'm still looking for more people out there to submit work to. And I don't say that in the sense of like being like elitist or anything like that, but it's like I want to know that people are going to either, one, deliver what it is that they say that they're going to deliver, like say if it's a collaborative project or something like that, like you were mentioning, Nicole, like I can definitely sympathize with the fact that you're being wary about getting into collaborative projects where multiple people are required to hold up their end of the bargain in order to have a finished product. That is what I have been very wary about doing, because like I say, I like I'm indie in every sense of the word. Like I like doing the whole process, which isn't to say that I don't want to work with other people in the future, whether it be editors, especially artists too. Like I don't want to do the illustrations. Like if say my next collection I come out with, I might want to include some illustrations. I want to hire some illustrators for that. So I mean that kind of collaborative, but that's like something that I kind of have a little bit more control of, where I say, hey, I'm going to hire you for a job. Here's the gig, and this is what I expect out of it. And then we can negotiate everything up front. So you already know what is necessary. But I'll say this to you. I have several opportunities. Don't let a few bad apples discourage you from networking with people. Because as I was mentioning before early in the stream, is networks is how we strengthen our own individual efforts. Because like I say, what I'm doing right now, playing your video on here, like this counts as networking, but at the same time, like you're helping me, helping you, like you're providing me with some sort of content. Like this is you effectively collaborating with me, and at the same time, it gets your channel out there as well, while I continue to do my own thing. So I think that it's just about being creative. I think just respecting people's boundaries and just trying not to insert yourself in what it is that other people have going on. But I encourage other creators to do some of the things that I'm doing, and maybe leave a few doors open, so you create some opportunities for other indie creators out there to present themselves and maybe come in, and introduce themselves to you, and you never know what might come out of that. You know what I mean?
Talking about submitting my work to a blog publication or podcast, no, I tried getting an agent, but they don't apparently know how to market any of my books. So I was rejected a lot of times. That's why I self-published, because I can do it. It's not that difficult. If I had more money, I could definitely be
Agreed.
way more ahead than I am. But considering I have nothing but maybe like $15 a month to put into Amazon ads and maybe some other stuff.
See, and even
like
that, I would
Kickstarter,
say that's a
I don't know,
waste.
like for ARCs or whatever. Yeah, I'm doing fine. I was on two podcasts. One is Females in Fantasy. That's a bit older. I think that's 2 or 3 years old of that particular podcast. And then most recently, Heath's Tabletop YouTube channel with the friend Brianna that ran Females in Fantasy podcast. That's how I got onto his live stream. But other than that, those are just the two.
I noticed that some of your past videos have quite a few, have quite a few views on them. So it definitely looks like you've been around and proactively involved with other creators and whatnot.
Really talk to a lot of people enough to be invited to things like that. Because I'm so focused on my 3 jobs and writing and marketing and doing other stuff in real life type of thing. Just trying to sort everything out for this year. Trying to get back on my feet, as you would say, that I'm not interacting with people. Number 6. What is your superpower? Resiliency is a superpower of mine. I have been recovered from all of my mental illnesses for going on 4 years now. It's going to be a couple of months until it hits 4 years. But I have gone through a lot and I have overcome all the things that I've been through in my childhood and my teen years, which would probably make people really sick and disturbed if they heard the whole life story up to 29 years. But that means I'm emotionally and mentally strong and resilient, and there's really nothing that I can't overcome because I've overcome the worst of the worst. Number one, what's your favorite form of writing? Flash fiction, short story, novella, or novel? I have only wrote one short story, and that's a reader magnet. You can get that if you subscribe to my mailing list. Everything else I've written novel length. I just prefer novel, but it's not long novels. Like I'm not writing a 150,000 word novel. It's not gonna happen, okay? More like my longest was A Patriot's Tale, and that's 87,000 words. And then it kind of has been decreasing in word length since. But I think that people need to write shorter books. Does it really need to be 150,000 words? Even if it's epic fantasy, is it?
Oh, hot take. Look out. That's why I tend to focus on the I've been writing more short stories, or I focus on writing short stories. I want to write a novel. It's not that I don't want to write a novel, because I think that a novel can be very immersive, and a very immersive experience, which is something that I would like to take on at some point in time. I just know that writing a novel is a huge frickin' undertaking. And I think that I would want, right now, my strategy is I want to kind of build up a readership before I take on a big project like a novel.
Does it really need to be that long? I don't know. Do you need, for example, a young adult fantasy?
But what I was going to say about that is, though, how do you feel about serialized fiction? Because that wasn't one of the choices on there, but I've noticed that with, for instance, like Kindle Vella, those platforms, or you could do it on Patreon as well. But like serialized fiction, where it's like it's not, and it might be like a short story in the sense of episodes. So it's like episodic. So it's like it's just like as if it was like a TV series, like a show, but it's literature, and you could just have like basically like unlimited amount of episodes, really, that takes place inside of one universe or a world, or whatever. You could have, in other words, you could have all these different types of like IPs, where if you just feel like writing up an episode, and you could come up with, I was thinking about that, like if you could come up with like some good serial, for me, I think the idea of like a good serialized fiction series would be something that has a formula that works, and you stick to the formula. But because, for one, like if it's formulaic, it would be easy to keep up with, and because there's really no end to it, I mean, you could have an end. Like you could release it, say, in seasons, and then you could do like 12 episodes, 13 episodes, and do it in like seasons, and you just write up these like essentially like flash fiction or short story episodes, where each episode reads at about, a half hour, 45 minutes to an hour, something like that in length, and just do it that way. I don't know. It's something new that's on the rise, and I think that the what you were saying with does it need to be so long? And I think that that's because it might tap into that short attention span type of crowd that is that's coming up in this day and age, and kind of like almost like a stepping stone. That's why I say, like, it doesn't need to be too fancy. It could be formulaic and not too fancy, because the point of it would be not to wow people with how profound it is, as much as it's just kind of like a gateway into fiction. You say, hey, you could read this work that I have here, and it kind of taps into a certain type of audience that maybe doesn't read a whole hell of a lot, but it gets them interested in reading, and you kind of give them little nuggets here and there of maybe deeper type of content that might be found in some of your longer works, like say a novella or a novel.
The novel to be 95,000 words? I don't think so. I mean, there's just some people that are really pushing it, and a lot of it is filler. So I don't like filler stuff.
I've been under that
Just
impression
because
as
I
well.
want it to be in the novel doesn't mean it needs to be in the novel. That's my quote of the day. Number 2, what do you write, fiction or nonfiction, and what genre or category? I write fiction. I have 4 poetry books out, but I really don't think that I'm going to do a 5th one, but never say never. I don't know. I also write historical fantasy, urban fantasy, and just straight up fantasy. Though I'm not writing epic fantasy, the fantasy that I'm writing in is fantasy that's already has a world, and that's kind of what the urban fantasy is. However, my 4th book onwards, that's going to be urban fantasy. But then I have my 2nd book, Danu's Curse, is Irish fantasy. So they are in Ireland. They're in ancient Ireland. And there's magic. So there's already
there's magic
world, right? But there is a bunch of magic involved. And it's somewhat historical about regarding there's Ireland. There are specific places where they're at. There's historically accurate names, so on and so forth, but the magic is overwhelming enough that you definitely can't say it's historical fiction. And lastly, number 7, who do you tag? And I'm tagging whoever wants to do it. I'm going to keep it simple.
Cop out. That's gotta call you out there. Should tag people. You got to call out names
for you today. If you're interested in this author,
you should put people on the spot, even though there's no pressure. I mean, if someone tags you in a video, you're not obligated to do the tag video, but I think that you should tag people.
Authortube tag, go for it. Thank you so much for watching my super duper Authortuber tag 1.0 2022. I think I did that right. I hope so. I hope that my memory is a little better.
Thanks, Nicole. You're a good sport, I have to say. Oh, and I forgot this part. She missed a question. She said, I made an oops. I realized question number 3 was stuck at the bottom of my cauldron, and that's why I didn't answer it. So here it is. It says, what work are you most proud of? And she says, I'm proud of all my works of art and don't have any particular favorites. Well, there you go. Oh, I want to say, here we are. Yep. All right, that's it for me this week. And I'll be here again for you guys next Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 6 p.m. Pacific. Have a good week.